Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film the video you've all been waiting for, I'm sure. This is my TBR check-in and my goals discussion for the year 2022. So if you remember, I've been tracking my TBR, the balance of my physical TBR over the last several years, and we started the year 2022 with 120 books on the physical TBR. And so we've been tracking that monthly and seeing where we get to. And you've already seen my book haul for the month of December, so you know that I brought in 12 books in the month of December. And I was starting out at the end of November, I had 118 books on the TBR, brought in 12. So let's just get to the numbers. Just stop the suspense, Heidi, and get to it. Here we go. So last month of the year, for December, I read 13 books. 10 of those were off my physical shelves. I brought in 12. I DNF'd and unhauled one book. So that left me with a +1 for the month, which left me with a total at the end of 2022 of 119 books. So I reduced my physical TBR by one book, and I am thrilled by that. Right up until December 31st, I didn't know what was going to be the outcome of this tracking of my TBR for the whole year, and I'm thrilled that I was able to basically hold it steady over the course of a year. So yeah, down to 119. That's where we ended the year 2022. And I do plan to continue on tracking my TBR monthly. I really enjoy doing this sort of balance sheet layout here. I'm gonna do one for 2023 as well, because I really find that it helps me be intentional about the books that I bring into my home. Really helps me think about the physical number of books that are here. Not that I care, not that I really have any goals or wishes to I don't want a 0 TBR. I don't even really need it to be anything other than what it is. I have the space to keep these books here, so it really doesn't matter. I just enjoy the process of tracking it for myself, and I also like that it makes me more intentional about the books that I buy, because I'm constantly aware of the numbers. It makes me think about it. So that's good for me, and I will continue that particular aspect, that particular goal through the month of 2020, through the year of 2023. So I'm going to put my reading glasses back on so I can read my notes, because I can't read my notes if I don't. Let's review what some of my goals were for last year. So I wanted to read one book per month on my Kindle. So I had a bunch of ebooks that were sort of stacking up. I never thought to pull my Kindle off the shelf and read it. I did get a new Kindle Paperwhite this year, and I was successful in reading. I read more than 12 books on my Kindle this year. I ended up reading 23 books total, ebooks, on my Kindle. So that was wonderful. I nailed that one, so I'm glad about that. Then I wanted to do more rereading, and I had set myself a goal of rereading one book per month. I did not meet this goal. I only reread 7 books total, and I don't think I will continue on with this goal for the upcoming year, for 2023, because I do like to reread, but I also really like to read new books. I want to read all these books that I have behind me, so I don't want to constrain myself. If I do reread, that would be great. If I don't, that will be fine as well. So I already talked about I want to continue to track my TBR and to do my balancing the TBR videos. I also had as a goal to finish my that list of books that college-bound students should read, and that was my classics challenge. Basically, I had been working on that since I was in high school, and I did complete that in 2022, which was a tremendous achievement. I really am pleased with myself for finishing that challenge I've been working on for so long, and I wanted to continue with my presidential biography reading challenge, where I'm reading a biography of presidents in chronological order, from George Washington all the way up to our current president. And I have been working on that. I only get through like 2 or 3 presidents a year. I am still on Teddy Roosevelt, as we've talked about, I think in the book haul I talked about, because I have the 3rd book in the biography trilogy by Edmund Morris to finish up, and then I will be moving on to William Howard Taft. So going to continue on with that, try to maintain my pace with that. I don't want to rush it, because I really enjoy doing that challenge, and it's fine with me if I only complete a couple of presidents each year. There's no rush on that one. And then the last, there were two more. There was one that I specifically set myself in my video last year, and that was I wanted to try to track my hours spent outside. This is not having anything to do with reading. I had been hearing about this 1,000 hours of outside time challenge from several other booktubers and other folks on the internet, and so I wanted to give myself a chance to try that and to see how much time I do spend outside, because I consider myself a person that spends quite a bit of time outside. So I did track it the entire year, and I ended up with a total of 822 and a half hours spent outside, which is good. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with that. That was my natural inclination last year. I didn't try to do anything different than my normal activity. And I really thought I would hit 1,000 hours with no issues, but clearly, some of the winter months I didn't do so well. So I am going into 2023 with renewed determination to reach 1,000 hours of outdoor time. So I will be tracking that again this year. I'm already doing better in January than I did last January. I only got almost 6 hours outside in last year in January. The weather's been much nicer already here, much more unseasonably mild, and so I've been able to spend quite a bit of time outside already. It's only day 3 of the month, so looking good for January so far, although we do have a nasty little storm coming our way for the rest of the week. So I will be continuing that, and we'll see how I do. Hopefully, now that I know what I just do on my normal activities, I can bump that up and reach the 1,000 hours with no problem. And then I added a challenge that I never really talked about on my channel sometime after the first of the year. And that was the free Black Women's Library Challenge to read 25 Black women authors during the year. And they had a bunch of prompts that you could use to sort of direct your reading. So I set myself up with a nice little layout in my book journal. And so it was 3 pages long. And I am really pleased that I did complete this challenge. I read 25 Black women authors. I didn't fill all the prompts that they provided because I read multiple examples of some of the prompts. Like there was one for speculative fiction or fantasy, and I was reading a trilogy of books by N.K. Jemisin, so I had several books in that category. I had a couple of memoirs, different things like that. But I really enjoyed using these prompts to sort of direct my reading and to, again, help me focus on something that I want to do anyway. A lot of these books were on my physical TBR, and I wanted to be able to focus on them. So that kind of a challenge just helps me direct my already natural inclination to do something. And I enjoy sort of having that as a target so that I can keep myself focused on something. So I enjoy doing that in 2022, but I won't be continuing on with it in this year. I have some other challenges that are similar, that are sort of in the same vein that I will be working on. So we've talked about some of the challenges that I'm setting myself, the goals that I'm setting myself for 2023, the President's Challenge, I'll be continuing on with that. I'll be continuing to balance the physical TBR. And one thing to point out, these books right here are the only books that are left in the ancient TBR. My goal is to deal with these in 2023. This stack needs to be gone by the end of the year, either by me reading the books or by me trying the books and deciding that I'm no longer interested in reading them and moving them out of the house. So this small stack of books should be gone by the end of the year. I already talked about the 1,000 hours outside. I will be continuing on as a BookTube Prize judge in 2023. I judge in the nonfiction category. I'm really excited for that to start. We've received the giant list of titles that are the possible titles for the first round of 48 books. So I've been going through those and picking out the ones that I want to vote for. So that's really fun. I'm really excited for that to start. The first round will start in February, where I'll be assigned, hopefully I'll be assigned 6 books to read if I get picked to judge in that round. But I will be making myself available to judge in all rounds. And then I will be continuing, obviously, with the Book Naturalist Book Club. That is this stack right here are the books that we read in 2022. These books are the books that are up coming up for 2023. I don't have all of them yet. I'll be filling this in as we go throughout the year. I'm very excited to continue on with the Book Naturalist Book Club. And then another project that I've been working on kind of quietly in the background and haven't really been talking about was I made a video a while ago that was my bucket list book tag. The bucket list books from the Mooks and the Gripes bucket list book tag that Sean the Book Maniac had created. This is the list of books that I started out with. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there are 10 books. Some of these are series instead of just standalones. And I completed 3 books off that bucket list last year. So I want to continue working on that. I'm already reading Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. That's a book on this list. I did continue with the Palliser series by Anthony Trollope last year. I want to continue on with that this year. So yeah, and A Clockwork Orange, which is right here on the Ancient TBR, is on my bucket list book tag. Bucket list from the bucket list book tag. So I will be continuing to work on that list and hopefully crossing a few more titles off of that. And then the biggest challenge, the new challenge that I will be setting myself that sort of replaces the Free Black Women's Library challenge is my Octavia Butler challenge. So this is a challenge where I am encouraging myself to read through all of the books published by Octavia Butler. I have read at this point, I think I've read 4 or 5 of her books already, but I want to read them all. I want to be a completionist for Octavia Butler. I really like her work. So I will be starting to work my way through her list of published works this year in a methodical way, in a serious way, to try to really get through all of her books and have her be an author that I've read all of her stuff. So those are my goals for 2023. I think I did really well in 2022. I'm really pleased with myself. I'm really pleased with the progress that I've been making on some of my long-term reading projects. And I'm also pleased that I completed one long-term reading project that's been with me since my high school years, which is just incredible. I'm really pleased with how the Balancing the TBR is going. And just everything. I think my reading... I did want to say that I read a total of 196 books for the year. That was all kinds of books, physical books, electronic books, audiobooks, everything, 196 books, which is probably, at least since I've been tracking my reading in a journal, is the most books I've ever read in my life, to my knowledge. So yeah, that seems just unbelievable to me that I could read that many books in one year. But it really goes to show that when you are focused on a project or you're focused on a hobby, how much you can really achieve in that hobby. And plus, I am an empty nester now, so I have a lot more free time on my hands than I used to. So yeah, so pretty tickled with how the reading life is going, how I did with my goals last year, and really looking forward to getting to work on some of these projects in 2023. Let me know down below if you have any goals that you're really working on, really focused on for the upcoming year, something that you're really excited about in terms of your reading life. I'd love to hear about it. I hope you're all doing well and finding some great books to read, and I will talk to you later.